in a minute. For those of you that don't know me, I'm excited about sharing some insights, and the whole focus of my channel, beside, of course, being faith driven, because that's the kind of guy I am. I'm a faith driven guy, is to give some perspective of working from home. And not just typically, for those of you that don't know, we have a blended family. So there's 9 total kids, 14 going on 15 grandkids as of right now. And what I've learned throughout the years, because I started out very part-time working from home and built it up where I'm full-time now as a stay-at-home dad slash grandpa, is that there's some complexities, man, when you're balancing family and business. It's tough. It's tough, especially if you work full-time, if you have a full-time job, and you have, you're involved in a marriage, and you have kids that are going through all kind of things. So what I aim to focus on, and what we'll share, are some roadblocks that I ran into, that I actually found good solutions from, and what I have. But today's video is just really kind of an introduction on why I even work from home in the first place. Now, I'm trying to get familiar with these controls. Okay, so I can start a poll, I can share it. Please like, share, and comment with this video. So let's get the channel up so we can start getting more exposure. So why I work from home? Like I mentioned, my background, 9 kids, 14 going on 15 grandkids. I remember at that particular time, 22 years ago, I was working for the federal government. And at that time, we had 7 kids under the age of 10. And it was hard. I mean, even with a good job, and I was working overtime and everything else, it's one thing to spend a lot of time away from your family. It's a whole nother thing. It's not only you spend a lot of time away from your family working overtime, but you're still having problems paying your bills. That's like a different level of stress and disrespect. So I was frustrated, and I was a firm believer that, look, if I give it a little more time, then things will change. You thought about that, like, look, get with me in 3 months, give me in 6 months down the year. Next year's gonna be my year. And I learned a very valuable lesson. I learned that change does not come with time. Change only comes when you change your behavior. And because I was doing the same things over and over again, going to work, working overtime, trying to budget my money, trying to really, instead of increasing my income, I was really trying to squeeze as much as I could out of that income. And that was tough. That was real tough. So I decided to look at some work from home opportunities. Now, I felt miserable at a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie. But I was feeling miserable already. People say, well, they're scared to fail. I'm like, I was already failing, working full time. They had to negotiate which bills I had to pay, having utilities cut off and cut back on, et cetera, et cetera. So typical guy, right? So I decided to work, finally found an organization that took me under their wing, and the rest is kind of history. It went from me making part-time income to being able to start to pay my bills on time, to me start to be able to cut back on the overtime, to me finally being home and owning all of my time. So there's 3 main reasons we want to get into today about why I feel that working from home is just smart. Now, when I say work from home, I'm not talking in the context of quitting your job. That's a whole nother beast. But I think it's just smart to have a plan B in place for 3 main reasons. Number 1 is that I discovered plan A wasn't just not working for me. Plan A didn't work for the majority of people. See, the Department of Labor says that 70% of people today don't have $1,000 in their emergency savings. That means literally 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So if you take 10 of your friends and line them up, 7 out of 10 of them, if they lost their job, they would lose their home. I don't care what their Instagram looks like. I don't care how many times they're traveling on Facebook. That's just the facts. 70% of people. And I'm like, wow. I mean, that's the plan. and this is not bashing jobs because, like I said, I have nothing against employment. I just chose to come home because of my income level. But it just blows my mind that people fight against people that are entrepreneurs so much, and they tell them just to get a job when 7 out of 10 people who have a job are, financially unstable. Like literally, it's scary. That's a scary situation. And we're running to this problem, and it's recognizable. It's not my opinion. This is a fact. So when I started to really research on, the struggles that people that were doing the same things I was doing were having, then I'm like, look, plan A isn't the best plan. Sometimes in life we tend to do things over and over again because that's all we've been taught. And if it just doesn't work, it just doesn't work. And it just wasn't working for me. It didn't make sense for me to be working sometimes 80 hours a week and still struggling financially. So if you're looking at where you are in life and you're not in that right place, do not bank on it's going to get better as time passes. I mean, if you think about it right now, most people, I remember when the retirement age was like 62. Then I remember when the retirement age was 65, then 67. And now the retirement age is when you die. There is no retirement. I work with people at the Feds whenever I was working at the Feds that they would literally retire because the Feds make you retire at 55. They would literally retire at 55 years old to go get another job, to get another retirement. Now, that's hard work, right? And there's nothing wrong with what they decide to do. But to me, it didn't make sense to work all the way up into your 70s and then start enjoying retirement. I'm an African-American male. The average African-American male in the United States lives to be 73 years old. I'll be 52 this year. That means that literally I have like 21 more Christmases, 21 more birthdays, 21 more New Year's. When you really look at life through the lens of being finite, it really makes you question some things. And it doesn't make sense to me to retire in my late 60s, knowing that I don't have a lot of time left. So that plan didn't really mesh well with me. So that's one of the reasons. Plan A doesn't work. It doesn't work well. And people will tell you that the age of retirement is not 65, it's not 72. I learned a long time ago the age of retirement is when you're financially able to retire. That can be in your 30s. That can be in your 40s. And wealth is not about how much you make a year. It's how much money you make when you're not working. Think about that. When you're not actively going to work, because the deal about linear income when I had a job is it only paid me when I was able to show up and do that job. So that leads me to point number 2. I think working from home is smart because it's a backup plan, and backup plans are needed because life is just unpredictable. We just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Look, just because you have a great career, and I pray that your career expands for as long as you want to. But I've known many people with great careers, something happened. I mean, COVID taught me, if COVID didn't teach me anything else, it taught me that nothing is secure. Not even what I do now from home. You better believe there's other streams of income. I take my money, I make it work for me, because you can't depend on one thing, because you don't know what's waiting for you. I mean, there's people that I know that are well off financially because of their jobs, and all of a sudden an auto accident, a brain aneurysm, a sickness that they didn't disclose, closes everything. And when they can't get up to do the job that they depended upon, now the job is not going to pay them, and they're back in a bad situation. So you got to get something with some type of residuals involved. That's the second reason. Backup plans are smart because life is unpredictable. And no one can say you're immune to it, regardless of how well you do. It worries me. One of the things that drives me every day is knowing what I do today is going to outlast me. So even when I die, my family still has income coming in, and that's big for me. And that's not just talking about life insurance. That's talking about putting something with some renewals and some residuals. The third reason is something I learned by volunteering through a lot of hospice centers and volunteering with people that are older. And I do some volunteering from time to time. And because that's a place where people go, and unfortunately, when you're at the end of your life, we're all going to be there one day. When you're at the end of your life, it can be a lonely situation for a lot of people. And it's not that their families abandon them. It's just that they're just in a bad situation because their families are living, doing their deals, are busy. So I volunteer a lot, and I talk to a lot of my elders, and I hear them regret a lot of things. I hear them regret a lot of things they didn't do when they were younger. Like they regret not spending more time with their family. I never heard a man or woman regret not working more overtime. Never. I never heard that. I never heard them say that. They regretted things like not taking more risk, not traveling more, not telling their friends how they really felt in situations, like being uncomfortable to really express yourself because you're worried about everybody else's feelings. They worry about those things. And through that, I understood something. The lesson I learned was that the pain of failure doesn't hurt worse than the pain of regret. Because when you try something, and even when you fail, at least you know it wasn't for you. But if you never try something at all, and at the end of your life, you look back and you wonder what could have been. You wonder what could have happened if I would have at least tried. If I would have at least took a chance on myself, how come my life would have been now? And that's a horrible, horrible feeling to have because you cannot quench the pain of regret. That's why I've learned to take chances in life. I mean, healthy chances, nothing that's going to put my family in danger or anything else. I learned to face my fears because it's the fear of failure that holds people back from trying new things. They're scared they're going to fail. But like I mentioned, when I was working a good federal job, working an average of 80 hours a week with the kids, the bills, and my personal situation, it was just tough. Even with all that overtime, I already felt like a failure, especially when your bills are late and everything else. So I took a chance. And I didn't really worry about that chance because you know what I felt? I felt that, the 3 or 4 different businesses I tried before I found the good fit for me, at least I had the satisfaction of knowing that it wasn't for me because I gave it a chance. I didn't have to worry about getting to the end of life and wondering. And some of you got regrets that are watching this right now. Some of you are probably thinking, what if I would have did ABC? Where would I be today? So take a chance. Bet on yourself. So remember, 3 reasons why you should try something from home. Number 1, just think about it. Plan A doesn't work. What I just talked about a while ago, the regret situation. Backup plans are smart. Backup plans are smart because life is unpredictable. And the third one, of course, the pain of failure doesn't hurt more than the pain of regret. So I hope I inspired you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.